Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business. Well, hello, this is Hal Coleman, the Pest Control Marketer, and welcome to the first video edition of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I'm here with my good friend and mentor, Mike Stewart, Mr. Online. How you doing today, Mikey?
Oh, this is new territory for us to actually get into the video world, and I'm excited for us to take that leap. Let people.
Well, a lot of people don't know what we look like, so now I guess they will. That could be a good thing, or it could be a bad thing.
You know, it is what it is, as my good friend Armin Morton always used to say.
Well, you know what I want to talk about today, Mikey, and it's really pertinent that we're doing this with video.
Okay.
And that is a technique in selling known as mirroring and matching. Are you familiar with mirroring and matching?
I haven't heard that term before, but I got a little idea what it might be, but I assume you're going to explain it to us, aren't you, sir?
Well, I am, and I know you have heard it before. Mirroring and matching plays on a certain innate subconscious trait that we all have that has evolved in our subconscious, and that is we automatically, instantly like and are attracted to people that we perceive to be like us. And we're automatically and instantly put off by people or things that we perceive to be different than us. There's fear and uncertainty crops up. And you know, Mike, that's the real basis for racism and bigotry and prejudice in our society, which we strive to overcome. But it all boils back to the fact that we instantly like people who are like us. We instantly don't like people who are different, and we try to overcome that. So how can we use that when we're selling termite and pest control or any services? We want people to identify with us and feel connected to us from the beginning. So if you're, for instance, going to meet with a client, now this is a little bit exaggerated, okay, but if you were going to meet with a client who you knew was a big hunter and maybe owned a big collection of boats and hunting equipment and everything, you know, if you showed up wearing a camouflage suit, he would instantly smile when he saw you. If you meet with someone who wears tailored clothing, and you show up wearing tailored clothing, they instantly like you. If you have a shaved head and somebody shows up with a shaved head, they instantly are attracted to you. If you have long hair and a Fu Manchu mustache and somebody shows up with long hair and a Fu Manchu, they instantly like you before they find out anything about you. So when you show up at a customer's home to do an estimate, for instance, and you notice that they maybe have a ski boat, or they have a beautifully manicured lawn, or a cat, or whatever, you pick out something that you have maybe in common with that person that you can identify with and bring that up and talk about it. Don't take on the adversarial position like I did one time. I went to a customer's house. I'd never met these people before. They bought a pest control service over the phone, and I went to the home, and I noticed when I pulled in the driveway that they had a Georgia Tech tag on the back of their vehicle. So the guy came to the door, and I introduced myself, and I said, "Sir, I'm sorry. Somebody has obviously played a practical joke on you out here." He said, "Oh, what's that?" I said, they put a Georgia Tech tag on your car."
That didn't go over.
That didn't go over well. He chuckled a little bit. He didn't smile, and he still reminds me of that to this day, that, you know, I almost told you to get the hell off of my lawn. and so, you know, you just don't want to do anything that perceives you as different. And I'm going to tell you one more story. You're familiar with Clement Stone.
Oh, yeah.
he was a multi-billionaire, made it mostly in the insurance business, but he was an author and a speaker and a brilliant entrepreneur and a legend in the business world. Well, there's a guy, are you familiar with Kevin Trudeau?
In the Canadian fella?
Well, yeah, Kevin has, maybe related to him. Kevin Trudeau is an entrepreneur who sells, he's a kind of a pitch man, and a lot of other things, I'm sure. But Kevin Trudeau has sold a lot of books on TV, and he speaks, and I think he was a millionaire by the time he was 18, learning how to sell things. And I heard him tell a story once. He said when he was about 26 years old, he got a meeting with Clement Stone. And he said, I have never been so nervous in my life. Now, Clement Stone was a big cigar smoker. As a matter of fact, back in the 50s, I think when we cut off relations with Cuba, and Clement Stone saw that coming, he bought like 2 warehouses full of Cuban cigars and built a warehouse here to put them in. I mean, that's what a big cigar aficionado he was. But Kevin Trudeau said he went in to meet Clement Stone. He was his heart was pounding, his hands were sweaty. He goes into the office, and Clement Stone says, sit down, and he introduced himself, and Clement Stone had a little humidor sitting there on his desk, and he opened it up, and he took a cigar out, and he passed the humidor over to Kevin Trudeau. He said, would you like a cigar? And he said, no, sir, I don't smoke cigars. He said, would you like to start? And he said, I believe I would. And he took one and he smoked it. And he said, I've been smoking them ever since. But he said, that was my first one. And he said, Clement Stone laughed and we hit it off and we just had a phenomenal meeting. He said, I don't know if it would have gone that way if I said, I don't smoke those things. They're nasty. My wife doesn't like the way they smell. And, no cigars for me. Things could have gone in an entirely different direction. So finding common ground with your prospects and with your customers will endear you to them. It will make them instantly be attracted to you. And the rest is up to you to build on that relationship and make the sales and get the customers. So I'm tired of talking now, Mike.
Well, the thing that when you relate this to the online world and what you do with your websites, your social media presence, more importantly, video marketing, videos on your website, YouTube. I mean, all of those are opportunities to have people, get those impressions of whether we have a connection or not. We used to say in internet marketing from the stage over and over and over, no one is going to give you money if they don't like you, they don't trust you, and they don't feel like they know you. And so, in other words, the mirroring thing here is a pulls down the walls that come up that are only, unfortunately, they're natural. Maybe they're defense mechanisms from all the way back to cavemen. We don't really probably know completely why it is natural for people to feel uncomfortable about people they don't know, like, or trust. And so you've got to make an effort in your connection in the offline world to make sure people know, like, and trust you. So first thing you got to do is they can't trust you and they can't like you if they don't know you. So getting them to know you is step one. And in your marketing, a strategy, and this is one of the kinds of things that baffles me about websites is using stock photos on websites of families that aren't you, or business technicians, or people that are involved with the business, and they're stock photos. They're not even the real people. How am I going to get to know or like you if I don't use photography of your devices, your trucks, your logos, and pictures of you? And I used to say for years, I have a face for radio, but I'm not scared to get in front of the lens of a camera, because I want people to feel like, well, I could do business with that guy. I like that guy. I trust that guy. He looks like he knows what he's talking about. It's hard to do that with just a paragraph of text on a white background. And when it gets into marketing, you've really got to convey those know, like, and trust messages. And in the history of advertising, you've got case studies of people that were not the best photogenic people in the world. Dave Thomas of Wendy's, the fellow who does the Men's Warehouse,
George Zimmer.
Yeah. So, I mean, the laundry list of people who became Lee Iacocca pretty much single-handedly saved the Chrysler Corporation because he got on there. He made people know him. They made him to like him. So when you're relating to people that you want to do business with, or really if you just want to relate with people in general, I mean, you do want to do what you can to get the majority of the world liking you. And then if you want them to spend money with you, you got to get them to trust you. And you got to get them to, once again, if they don't know you, they're not going to like you. So I see the mirroring is what you do in the offline world, and creating that same environment on the online world can mean the difference between a phone call or an email or a text message of saying, hey, I saw your content, I saw your information, I want to talk about doing business with you. So I get it, and I agree. And anything you can do, that can make the difference between somebody making a buying decision or not, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, and it can be so subtle. I mean, you can just start out your presentation, if you hate mosquitoes as bad as I do,
yeah,
that one opening line right there, it's a connection. We're alike. We both hate mosquitoes.
Right.
Or if you hate paying taxes as much as I do, that opening line has been used by a lot of people because it creates an instant connection. If you love your house as much as I do, or you're afraid of, if you're as afraid of snakes as I am, you're trying to just get that instant connect. So I think we've made that point. I wanted to just talk about that technique today, especially since we're here. Mike, years ago when I met you and we both had dark brown hair, I instantly liked you. And now we both have white hair. We've been working together for, it's going on. I hate to say it, it's going on 40 years we've been working together, not quite that long.
I hope you don't hate to say it.
No, I don't hate to say it. I hate to say that we've both gotten older because the time grows shorter, that we keep having fun. We've been having fun together for way over 35 years and working together. We've done a lot of projects together. I remember back when we were writing jingles and producing them for furniture stores and automobile dealerships all over the country, and I was doing a Willie Nelson sound alike, and people thought it was Willie singing and it was me, and we had a blast doing that. You were cranking them out in your studio over there, and we've been working together a long time.
Yeah, well, and it's always been a pleasure to hear your wisdom, and I credit you with helping me with a lot of things. I've always enjoyed technology. I mean, you can see here in my office, I don't know if you can see some of my equipment, but, I've loved technology. I've loved what computers and microphones and instruments and, I've had equipment ever since you've known me. It was back in those days, it was tape recorders. And we had the common bond of music and songs and songwriting, but we also had a common bond of learning how to relate to business people to where we could do what we love and help people and build a business that supported us and our families. And we've done that with whatever, when you and I started in the early 80s, there was, the internet was a twinkling in somebody's eye, and it wasn't mine. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it was Al Gore's.
Well, now that right there is my favorite joke of all time. But the truth is he did have a little bit of vision that information would be readily accessible, and now the internet is a marketing broadcast media, and
just like what we're doing.
Right. And I never would have dreamed that we could sit in two different cities, really two different places around the world, and collaborate and mastermind and share it with, untold amount of people because of this broadcast medium called the internet. So Hal said he wanted you to see us. So I said, well, here's the technology to make it happen. And by dinging, Here's version 1, step 1, episode 1 of the Mike and Hal, Mr. Online, Mr. Offline television show.
You know, Mike, you remember back in those days, 35, 36 years ago, when you would say, what time can you be at the studio? And I'd say, well, I should get my pest control route finished around 3 o'clock. And I'm trying to be over there. I was a bug guy back then 40 years ago, and I'm the bug guy still today. Been in the pest control industry. This is my 45th year, as a matter of fact. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Stay tuned for the next one. Hey, let us know if you like it. Send us a text or an email or a Facebook post, and let us know your thoughts. We appreciate you being here. Mike, it's been fun as always. Close it out, my friend.
Well, thank you, my friend. Be sure to tune in. And if you got any questions whatsoever, be sure to call Hal Coleman at 770-993-0004. He will give you an hour of his time.
That's 0004.
Did I leave out a zero? Well, there you go. Good. Glad you caught that. It's probably on this website. But call Hal and take him up on that free hour, because he is a master at helping you build your business and multiply your business. And, of course, this is my company, Websites You Control Yourself. I am an advocate of using WordPress websites. That's a technology that you don't need to understand why it works. It's just a way of getting the word out on the internet and housing the audio, video, and text and images that can make people know, like, and trust you and call you. And you call me at 770-826-3662. That's my cell phone. And I love hearing from people who want to have questions and see if we can be a good fit to help you. So with that, I close it on our first video podcast. Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, pestcontrolmarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet audio and video guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com. Thanks for listening to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast in iTunes and on your phones, and in Stitcher on your Android. But more importantly, go to our website, pestcontrolmarketingpodcast.com. Subscribe to our email list to always be notified of new episodes. You're never going to want to miss what we got coming up next, and you never know what we're going to be able to do to help you with your pest control marketing.